Oh, I didn't even.
Come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive, friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. Chasing the highlights, where dreams come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive, friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. We treasure the legends, those who paved our way, in every single chapter, we're here to stay, breaking down plays, had a
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington, and I'm here with my co-host today, Tony Robinson. He's in Texas, and I'm in Arizona. Welcome to the show, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. How you doing, Tony?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. So yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking doing a week 14 recap, and then we'll be doing a preview of what happened in week number 15 coming up this weekend. Basically in week 14 featured several crucial divisional matchups that shook up the playoff picture, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, and the Jaguars all taking sole possession of first place in their respective divisions. This week marked a bunch of major upsets and stunning comebacks and key injuries in the NFL. It was a pretty crazy, wild week this week in the NFL. So, but first of all, I want to start off with basically the Chargers last night. The Chargers went 22-19 over the Eagles in overtime, and Jalen Hurts had 4 interceptions and 1 fumble in the loss. I saw Jalen Hurts for the first time in, I don't know if NFL history, I'm not sure, but he had 2 turnovers on one play. He threw an interception, and then the guy fumbled the ball for the Chargers, and then he got the fumble, and then he fumbled the ball over back again to the Chargers. It was the weirdest thing that I've ever seen in a game, and it was really pathetic. And in this game, Jalen Hurts, even though Barkley had over 100 yards rushing, he looked actually pretty decent. And AJ Brown had over 100 yards receiving. The turnovers just killed him. I mean, I've never seen Jalen Hurts look like this. This is probably the worst that he's probably looked in his career, I believe. But something was missing from his game last night, where I just couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, man, what's going on with this guy? He even threw the interception in overtime. They were like on the 15-yard line, and they were about to score to win the game if they scored a touchdown, because they needed a touchdown to win. And he threw a pick. The ball was tipped at like the 2-yard line, and the Chargers intercepted the ball, and that was the final nail in the coffin from them. They've lost 3 in a row. All of the noise that AJ Brown was talking about 4 or 5 weeks ago is now here, right? They have to start dealing now with the noise that AJ Brown was kind of talking about. Hey, our team is not, doing what they need to do to win. Now we're at the 3rd game in a row loss. And although they have a couple of easy opponents down the stretch, they don't look good at all when it comes down to, their defense really looks good, but man, their offense, man, is not really good. Tony, I don't know if you saw the game last night, but I don't know if you heard all the noise this morning about what was going on with them. But what do you think about the Eagles? Is this team right now, the way they're constructed and the way they're playing, can they still have time to clean things up in 4 weeks and go into a deep run in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know, because the way, like you said, like Jalen Hurts is playing, the way he's playing, they're gonna go as far as he takes them. That's what it comes down to. If you can't throw 4 picks and fumble the ball, you can't have 4 or 5 turnovers and then try to go for a playoff push. You're picking the wrong time. I mean, it's kind of been all season. They've been kind of like sputtering the wheels and stuff like that. But when it comes to like preparing for the playoffs, you can't have these kind of games getting ready for playoffs. I mean, it's just you can't do that because you're supposed to be like a final machine right now. Everything should be clicking. I mean, you may have some mistakes here and there, but 4 interceptions in the game. I mean, he's on the road. You got a Chargers team he has a really solid defense and stuff like that. It's it's kind of hard to pinpoint where the mistakes are, but he also has to do stuff that if he's going to turn the ball over, he has to find other ways to help the team by like running the ball more, because he only had 4 rushes for 8 yards. Like you have to find other ways to contribute to the team. I mean, if you just take care of the ball for starters, and then you have to be able to like get more runs, because they ran, like you said, Saquon Barkley had 122 yards rushing, and usually Jalen Hurts gets rushing yards too, but he's not. Like, are they trying to make him a pocket passer just to pass the ball to downfield? I don't know what it is now, because it seemed like he's not playing the way he used to playing, because he's not getting out of that pocket and going. It seems like 4 for 8 is not.
That's not going to do it. Not with the way he can run the ball and put pressure on the defense. And the crazy thing about it is that Nick Sirianni said last week, after last week's loss, that he was going to be involved more in the offense, right? He was going to start going there. So after a whole game planning, right? After a whole week of game planning with Sirianni being more involved in the offense, which he is an offensive guy, right? He goes and he puts out this mess. Yeah. Right, he goes out and puts out this type of performance, and I think they're kind of hearing the noise from the outside. Why aren't you getting AJ Brown? Because AJ Brown has had 100 yards over the last 2 or 3 games, and that has cleaned up. So AJ Brown is not chirping anymore. Right, he's not talking all that talk before, that I'm not getting the ball, blah blah blah. But you can see we can throw you the ball, you can get your 100 yards, but we ain't winning. So now, so how does that mesh? Right. What about Smith? Devontae Smith. What about him? He's not getting involved because they're trying to get you the ball. But all of it is losses right now. So the Philadelphia Eagles, they got to figure out their what they're going to do, because even though they got a firm lead right now, I think they're going to be okay with winning the division. But they can't step up anymore because the Cowboys. Cowboys run the table and get in there. But I think they're safe.
The ultimate goal is to win the game, no matter what. Like, for me, if I'm winning, like at the time where Brown was complaining, like, I understand what he's saying, because if I was a receiver, I'd be the same way. But you're winning. You're 8. The time this came out, they were 8-2 or something like that. They were winning. Like, as long as we're winning, I'm fine. But if we're losing, like the Browns, and I'm a receiver on the Browns, and I'm open and I'm not getting the ball from Dylan Gabriel or something like that, then I'm pissed.
Well, we're gonna turn the tape. We're gonna turn the page on that game. The Eagles got something to figure out. The Chargers, you got a man with one hand out there playing with. Just had surgery a week ago, and he's out with stitches and everything, with a big old pad on his hand, and he came out there and he did his best, but he was turning the ball over too. The Eagles defense looked good, but we'll see down the road and what they'll do over the next 4 weeks.
Boy,
but
had a Mickey Mouse glove on.
Yeah, he did. He had a Mickey Mouse glove. I'm like, it did look like a Mickey Mouse glove too. It sure did look like a Mickey Mouse glove. I thought that was kind of funny. But we're gonna turn the page, because we've got the Packers get a big win at home against the Chicago Bears. And that game was the game of the week for me. Jordan Love led the Packers to a crucial division win, moving them in the first place in the NFC North over the Chicago Bears. All right, the Bears, right? So they win the game. The Packers win this game, and I was really impressed with the Chicago Bears, how they hung in there. They came alive in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams did some whirly bird stuff out there and running around, making crazy throws. Stuff like he was doing in college, but he felt comfortable. It looked like he was comfortable out there doing it, and he made some plays down the stretch. But at the end of this game, he had a chance at the end of this game, and he threw the interception, right? Threw the interception that sealed the game for the Packers. But the Packers now, they look legit. All right, the Packers look legit now because their offense looked good. They've got their complement of wide receivers available. Jordan Love looks really, really good, and they play the Broncos this week. And then he's back in the MVP conversation again because of his stretch that he's had over the last few games. And it's warranted. The Packers look good. I mean, what can I say?
Ben Johnson gave the Packers bulletin board material when he said,
Yep.
I want to go beat them twice a year," or whatever he said. I'm
Yep.
paraphrasing, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think that's where this win stems from, and I think it's a big win for the Packers. And I feel like they're going to be riding a high after this game because playing against your rival and stuff like that. That's huge. So kudos to Green Bay for that big win.
Yeah, big win, and it's crazy because the Packers go from first place in the NFC in the playoff picture down to the 7th seed. So that loss put them down in the 7th seed, which is crazy, and that's how good the East is right now. That's how packed it is. A lot of good teams in the NFC East right now. I mean, excuse me, not NFC, but the NFC division, so conference. So that's kind of crazy. So we'll see how that ends up. So that brings up our first question of the day, Tony. Are the Bears making the playoffs this year? They got final games against the Browns coming up this week, and the Packers, again, the 49ers, and the Detroit Lions. I mean, now that they're the seventh seed, they can't really afford any missteps. And we'll be talking about the game with the Browns coming up too, which I think is going to be kind of interesting. But then you've got the Packers. Say they get by the Browns, can they get by the Packers? And can they get by the 49ers in Detroit, who's going to be playing for a playoff spot? I'm not quite sure if that's going to work for them.
I could see them getting maybe 2 out of the 4. I mean, I don't want to go against my team. I'm always pick my Browns, of course, but if you ask me this question, I'm looking at the Browns and potentially the Lions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, but that's going to be a good game, though. It's hard to tell. I mean, they got a shot, but I don't think they can beat the Packers again. I don't think they can beat the Packers because the Packers at home, maybe they can pull something out.
They're going to be going to the Bears to play the Packers again.
Yeah.
So the Browns travel this week to them, and then the Packers, and then you got the 49ers, the Lions. Man, they've got a gauntlet there the next 4 games. And remember, they already are on the last place. They have the last spot right now. So they're not leading the North anymore. So they have the last spot right now. So that means that's going to be a tough gauntlet, right?
And the only reason why I picked the Browns because I don't feel like they want to win because the way that they've been, we're going to get into that later, but
yeah,
how they've been playing these last couple games, the sabotaging going on. So
yeah, I think overall, I don't. To me, I think that the Bears might not make the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and say the Bears aren't going to make the playoffs only because of this. The Browns, they might get by potentially, but the Packers again. And then even if they get by the Packers, they've got the 49ers and the Detroit. With Detroit, it could be a situation to where the Lions, the winner of the Lions game, and the last game of the season, the Bears and the Lions, that might be for the last playoff spot. So, assuming that Dallas, the Lions don't get a couple of more wins.
Well, they're playing at home, so they got a shot there. That could
with
be
Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit. They play at home, so you got Detroit out of the dome.
Out of the dome.
So we'll see how that goes.
But I think what Detroit does travels. I think that they can win outside the dome. I think that they can.
They don't have to run the ball in that cold weather.
Yeah, and so which brings us to this game that everybody's been talking about. I mean, this game is the top 5 worst teams in the NFL as far as record, right? And everybody's talking about this game. It was a 31-29 win. The Tennessee Titans win this game. A shootout between 2 rookie quarterbacks, one number 1 overall pick, and a 5th round pick. Tony Pollard has some big runs to seal the win for the Tennessee Titans. But Shedeur Sanders had a really good game in this particular game. I think at one point he was getting sacked and tore up and everything in this particular game. And I think, Tony, you kind of text me. It's like, oh, they got a good defense. I'm like, no, they don't. The Titans is ranked the 24th defense in the NFL. So he should be putting it on them. And then all of a sudden Sanders started coming alive a little bit more. And that was kind of how we kind of left it And then, the loss and the way they lost at the end was insane, totally insane. And I told you a couple of weeks ago, Tony, I remember telling you this in our podcast. I told you a couple of weeks, Tony, that you know what, Tony? I'm tired of seeing the Wildcat. They started this out from Jump Street. All right. When Sanders got in the game, I'm like, why the hell are they going for 2 points or 2-point conversion? And Sanders is not the quarterback behind center. They wore this Wildcats thing out. They're not fooling anybody. It's a total mess. And so with the game on the line, to tie this game and the game on the line, when they got the touchdown, all they needed was a 2-point conversion in this game. They took Sanders off the field and they put Junkins in the Wildcat. And I'm like, oh boy. And it was just a hot mess. And this is the reason why they lost this game. There's a lot of other reasons, but this is one of the main reasons why they lost this game. So, Tony, I'm going to give you the floor. Talk about what the hell's going on with Cleveland Browns and how they're doing this Wildcat thing with Sanders. Just kind of give me your insight just on the whole game and kind of break everything down towards the end.
So I'm gonna start by saying this. I've been a Browns fan for 45 years since I was born. I was born into this. So, but for all those people that come in the comment sections gonna say, "Oh, you're a Shador truther." Yes, I am. I'm a truther now, baby. It's perfect timing right now. So I'm gonna leave that there, right? Okay. So to talk about this game, you know, I was heated. You know, I was heated. I was in here yelling, right?
Yep.
So we're down 14. He brought us back. Final drive. Brought us back into the red zone. You go Wildcat. And it when they first started doing it, it was working, right? But then soon as Junkins come in, now they know what's coming.
Yeah.
Even if you try to put a wrinkle in, they still gonna hone in on him. And he didn't know what to do with the ball. That's what happened. He was like, "Oh, what was going on?" Like
it looked like it was going to be a reverse. Was it going to be a reverse?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a reverse, but if you'd have gave the ball, it was open for the touchdown. All you had to do was give him the ball because he only had one guy that was being blocked, and the lane opened up for the touchdown. But I don't know what happened. He just had a brain fart. I don't know what it was, or Stefanski told him not to score.
that was bad. It's bad
because there's no way to me. Like you said, I've been saying this for so long since they've been doing this Wildcat. Why he's not in the game in the red zone? Because I feel like when you have multiple options in the red zone versus one option, you know, when Junkins come in the game, you know what he's doing, right?
Right.
And any wrinkle you put in there is still going to be honed in on Junkins. And so with that being said, you get multiple options because now Shador is running the ball. He's actually getting rushing touchdowns now too. And adding that element to his game is throwing people off because they just think he's a passer. So if knowing this, why not have Junkins and him in the game at the same time? Because you got the option to run. You can even do a read option if you're going to do something, crazy, or pass and then give him an option to run. So in that scenario, to win the game, he brought us back and he had a game-winning marching drive that a lot of these quarterbacks are their career is like they have a whole bunch of stats about game-winning drives and stuff like that. And you just took that away from this guy, this rookie, that you say you care about and want to be better. But I don't believe that, because if you want him to be better, you let him be in that situation. That was his situation. He brought y'all back, and you give it to Junkins. Like, what are we doing here? Like, to me, I'm tired of Stefanski at this point, because he keeps showing me, even though they say Reese is the offensive coordinator, he said after the game, like, blame me because I'm the one that made the decision. But I thought Reese was the offensive coordinator. So you actually went back. That means you sabotaged his drive. If Reese called all the plays to get them back into the game, and then you call that play at the last minute to throw everything off to take Shador out of the game, then that shows that it's sabotaging. And just like the previous game, you're gonna go for it on 4th and 1 on our side of the field, and then San Francisco just went on a run because you gave them the ball right at the damn goal line. Excuse my language. Yeah. But it's like when you got that, it's like it's constant like sabotaging. And I don't come from me in the comment section. I don't care, because that's how I'm a true. I watch every game. So
explain to me who goes, because I don't think Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders can exist for a full season. And so to me, one of them got to go. Either they can trade. Well, now I can see that he can be trade bait. They can trade Sanders to any other team now. He's got enough on tape to be developed. So, and then Deshaun Watson is going to be healthy next year. So what gives in Cleveland? Is Stefanski going, or can Sanders coexist with Stefanski's offense, and Stefanski believes in him? And let's just go back and say this. Stefanski has come out and said yesterday that Sanders has earned the right to be his starter through the rest of the season. Yeah. So he's got the ball the rest of the season. So is that Stefanski, somebody beating Stefanski over the head, or Shedeur Sanders is like, yo, I'm going to force your hand. So either you're going to let me play through my play, or you're going to be gone. So I don't even know what's going to happen. So what do you think, Stefanski? Because I don't think they can exist on the same team for a whole season. Who goes?
So let me start here. We got a big old stadium being built, an indoor stadium, right? You got this indoor stadium, right? What better person to put cheeks in the seats? Shedeur Sanders for the future. Like this is how I think about it. It's the future of the organization, right? So with that being said, the reason, I mean, you can, for the Stefanski comment of like him playing the rest of the season, he has the save face because he's being like, he has egg on his face right now. Like he's like, oh, I mean, I didn't know he's going to do this or whatever. I mean, we knew who he was. We knew who Shedeur was when he was getting drafted. Everybody, Mel Kiper, all these guys were talking about this kid, talking about how good he was and how he should have been a first round pick. But people will talk about it in the comment section. Oh, he's a fifth round pick. He's not that good. Like, shut up. And we see it. We see that he's good. And it's just so annoying that and I feel like, to answer your question, either Stefanski has to go or he has to do something like he got to get rid of Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel has to go. If he gets rid of Dillon Gabriel, then I can see that he wants to keep his job with the Cleveland Browns because he sees the future or whatever. I don't know, but Dillon Gabriel has to go because you got his wife in the on social media talking smack about the team wants Dillon Gabriel to play. I'm like, in what world was that? Like how can like no one? I'm a Browns fan, so I've never heard anybody say Dillon Gabriel. Up until like when Shedeur has been starting, nobody has said, "Oh, we want Dillon Gabriel back." Nobody has said that. Like that doesn't make any sense. Why would even any of his teammates say this when they know he's behind because Shedeur didn't get the reps. So they know he has like a ramp up period to get this, to where he needs to be. Like there's no like logical reason why Dillon Gabriel would be the man. So to answer your question again, I think the only way Stefanski stays is if he buys into the Shedeur, because it's going to take over. Like Shedeur is already taken over. Like maybe the owner and the GM was like, dude, you got to start this kid the rest of the year. If you want to keep this job, or and we can get rid of Dillon Gabriel. I mean, they may try to bring in Deshaun Watson next year to be like a stopgap to get him more development, but I just think that Deshaun Watson should be a backup to him, even though he's making the big money. I don't care about that. I mean, or make them have a competition at the beginning of the season, like they should have did with Dillon Gabriel. Like, okay,
somebody going to be traded. They can't exist in the same team. Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders can't exist in the same team.
Deshaun Watson has been helping him.
But because he hasn't been healthy. But Deshaun Watson, a healthy Deshaun Watson coming back next season, he's not going to want to help Shedeur beat him out for a potential job. And I don't know of Shedeur Sanders can beat Watson out. That's my problem. I don't know if he can beat him out.
He might not be able to. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least have a competition. Don't just say Watson's going to be a starter because you paid him so much money. I understand what you're saying. And I saw that comment about somebody saying
Peyton.
I mean, when we go into the dome, that would be a good coach to have. But not.
Yeah, Sean Payton, they're not trading Shedeur Sanders to the Broncos. By the way, I mean that would be too much of a mess.
He's not coming to the Browns. So.
No, he's not coming to the Browns. So, well, putting a bow on that one. he's got the Bears this week. We'll be talking about that game in a minute, but we'll see how he does in that game because the Bears like to take the ball away. Yeah, the Bears like to take the ball away. So moving on. I mean, they had the Buffalo Bills game this week. That game was crazy too. I mean, I was kind of peeking into that game, watching the snow and everything. And that's real football, by the way. You start seeing the snow come down. I think they had a little snow too in Cleveland too. So I love this time of year because now the running games and stuff. But you would think that the running games were going to be it, but the Bills made big defensive plays late in the comeback in the fourth quarter to get a big win against the feisty Joe Burrow-led Bengals. And I got to tell you, in this game, Joe Burrow lost this game for his team. With the 2 turnovers at the end, Joe Burrow lost this game for his team. And along with any playoff hopes that they had coming down the pipe. All right. So they lost this game. Joe Burrow had a great game. He threw 2 picks at the end, lost the game. Bills Mafia is going crazy. Now they have a big showdown coming up this week. But that Bills team, man, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell everybody this about the Bills. So Josh Allen, he's not going to have Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs this year. He's not going to have Joe Burrow in the playoffs this year. And he's probably not going to have Lamar Jackson in the playoffs this year. So when you look at, Josh Allen's quarterbacks that he's lost to, those are the big 3 that he's lost to in the playoffs. That's knocked him out the playoffs his whole career, by the way. And they're not going to be in the playoffs this year. So now you tell me who in the AFC now is going to knock off Josh Allen and stop him from getting to the Super Bowl this year if he gets to the playoffs. Because clearly, you got the Texans, that the crazy defense with the Texans. You have the Colts that are on the downswing right now. The New England Patriots, who they play this week, could be that team combined as a team because they've already beat the Buffalo Bills. But this has been an amazing to watch. This season is so long with 17, 18 weeks that the ebbs and flows of this the NFL season is like a soap opera. Now the Bills are in perfect position to kind of run the table and get into the playoffs with none of the guys that's knocked them out. So Tony, what do you think about that?
Well, I have 3 teams that could potentially do something, but the thing about it is with the Bills, they're battle tested when it comes to playoffs, but then they kind of sputter against those guys you said. But with those guys out, we don't know, the sky's the limit for them because we don't know what could happen. But when you have good defenses like Denver, you got New England that takes stuff away and stuff like that. And the main one for me, you got Houston too, but I think Denver is the wild card here because their defense is so stout, and we don't know how their offense is going to play when the playoffs come. And the Buffalo Bills have been giving up a lot of rushing yards and stuff like that. So I feel like in the playoffs, I feel like Bo Nix would probably run a little more than the run game would take off to a different level because they need to do something else because they're not consistent for some reason. It's like Bo Nix needs to run the ball more, or they need to figure something out with the run game. And I don't know, because they have solid receivers, but because you don't have a consistent running game, you can't get the passing game going. So, and they play in the cold weather and, mile high and stuff like that, but it depends where they're playing too. If they're playing in Buffalo, it's going to be hard to win in Buffalo.
Yeah. And so, She Loved Me on Payday had said the Bills' curse is real. They will never win a Super Bowl because their stadium is built on a Native American burial ground. That's well known since the 80s. Wow. That's a hell of a statement. As a Commanders and Redskins fan, She Loved Me on Payday. A lot of people thought that's why the Redskins couldn't win because they have the Redskins name and blah, blah, blah. But they won most of their Super Bowls with the Redskins name. Okay. So, they took the name away. We know that whole story of how they took them. Now that they're the Washington Commanders now. And, so we already know how that is. But I'm not quite sure that is going to hold true. It could. But now we're talking theories here. So I don't know if that's real, but I think that this year, if they get into the playoffs, they have a real chance to win because I think that they don't have those those quarterbacks. They got a bunch of young quarterbacks that's coming in that has CJ Stroud has been there the last couple of seasons, but that with that defense that they have over there, and and Lawrence is in Jacksonville, he's too unpredictable. He's too unpredictable too. So I think that there could be a clear path for the Bills to get in the Super Bowl this year because his nemesis that have knocked them out the playoffs the last 5 years is not there anymore. So we'll have to see how that pans out. We would normally take our break, but we're going to keep running. Right, we're going to keep going. But at the end of the day, we'll see how it really pans out, guys. I don't know how this is going to pan out. So we're gonna head into start looking at some Week 15 stuff, and Week 15, give me a second. Week 15 features two crucial matchups as teams jockey for playoff position and the division titles. Key games this week is the AFC East battle between the 9-4 Bills and 11-2 Patriots. I saw the struggling 6-7 Chiefs host the Chargers, and the 9-4 Jaguars looking to maintain their position against the 3-10 Jets. I mean, the Jaguars get a really good gift here in that particular game. But when we start to really look at games, when we start looking at games this week, we have the Bills at the Patriots. So, my buddy Danny Bro there, that's a Patriots fan that was on our podcast like 5 weeks ago. He's a big time Patriots fan, and he's basically saying that he thought that they were going to split, that they were possibly going to lose this game. I'm not quite sure what he thinks about it now, but boy, you got the Patriots coming off a bye this week. I'm not sure what the line is in this particular game, but this game here is going to be crazy.
It's pretty much even, -1.5 for Buffalo.
-1.5 for Buffalo going into New England, and New England's coming off a bye week. And I think the Patriots are going to be ready for them. I'm picking the Patriots in this game, but I'm cautiously picking the Patriots only because the Bills are playing really good football right now. And they're battle tested, and Josh Allen and all those different things. They have to run the ball. They can't get too pass happy. But this is the time of year where you have a guy, Josh Allen, that's making $50 million plus a year. This is what you pay this guy for. And if the Patriots win this game, man, you have to really start looking at the Patriots going potentially deep in the playoffs, because they would have beat the Buffalo Bills twice, and they could meet them a third time in the playoffs potentially too.
Yeah, Bills Mafia. I like everything that y'all do and stuff like that. Don't come after me. Don't come after me, Bills Mafia. But I think the Patriots gonna take this game. It's gonna be a close one. I think he's probably win by a field goal. Yeah, I got Patriots in this one.
Man, yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I don't. Man, it's gonna be one to watch. I'm gonna pick the Patriots, but I don't count on Josh Allen. I hate to go against Josh Allen, but the Patriots play great team ball as a whole, and their defense is suspect. And I think that the way the offense of the Patriots is playing with their running game and everything else that Drake May is doing, I think he's going to present a lot of problems for the Bills. But we'll see. So now we're going to be looking at the Packers at the Broncos. Now, this game here is going to be a really good game. I mean, the Packers need this game more than the Broncos need this game. The Packers need to win this game, and they're going – and remember, the Broncos are coming off a bye week also. So, no, the Broncos aren't coming off a bye week. Excuse me. Well, I would say they're coming off a bye week because they played the Raiders. They played the Raiders this week, so it's kind of a bye week. It was a tune-up for this game. But the Packers – going in to play the Broncos, and now we're talking about Jordan Love. Jordan Love now has gotten himself back into the MVP conversation because of the last 3 games that he's played. He's been hot, not turning the ball over a lot. And, you got Jacobs, too, running the football hard like he did against the Bears. And now they play a tough Broncos defense. throw the weather out. The weather is not going to be a problem for either of these teams, because I would tell you that probably Green Bay is probably colder than colder than going to Denver. But throw everything out the window in this game. The Packers at the Broncos. I'm picking the Packers only because 2 weeks ago the Broncos went into Maryland and barely won a game in overtime against the horrible Commanders that I haven't even talked about because they got blown out this week. So the Broncos struggled with the Commanders in overtime a few weeks ago. Now you got the hot Packers going to play the Broncos. I'm picking the Packers in this game.
Okay. So I'm taking this. Okay, so we can throw the weather out there because Packers
throw that out
because they both playing cold weather, but you got that mile high. That mile high is going to be different for the Packers. I mean, I don't know if that's going to play a factor. I think that Packers still can do. They can still do their thing because all they got to do is run the ball or whatever. Do what they do, but I think this is going to be a low scoring game, really close, and it's probably going to be like a field goal winning game or whatever. But I'm gonna take the home team, the Broncos. Because I feel like the passing game is not going to be able to get off like it does against the Raiders, those other teams and stuff like that. With this Broncos defense, they play really well, and I think that's where the Packers kind of, unless they run the ball a lot more, that's the only way they can actually get some balance and stuff like that. If they can't run the ball, if they can't run the ball, then the passing game is going to suffer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking the Packers to win this game. I'm kind of riding them a little bit right now because of that defense they have to. Parsons, he causes a lot of problems, and Bo Nix, Bo Nix is he's okay, but he's doing enough to win. But I think that they're going to get after Bo Nix.
That mile high is going to slow that defense down.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of leading towards the Packers in this game. So we'll see. We'll have to see how it pans out. But Packers, I think you're going to probably get a win in this game, in a close game. 3-point game either way, I believe. Also, so I don't even know why we even talking about this game. The Browns at the Bears. But one of the reasons why I'm talking about this game is that everybody, and this is why I say the Bears aren't going to make the playoffs. As good as their offense have been, and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams has been pretty solid, the Bears is 26th in the league in points allowed and 27th in yards allowed, but they're number one in takeaways. This is how the Chicago Bears have been winning these games. Caleb Williams has had 5 comeback wins, within the last 5 minutes of the game. You can't keep winning like that, first of all, right? It's hard to win like that. We saw the Commanders. Commanders won like that last year. They can't win like that again this year. And so the Chicago Bears have been winning off of those turnovers and winning off of Caleb Williams' comeback wins in the fourth quarter. But that defense is a little porous. And this defense might be worse than actually the defense that the Titans have. The Titans defense might be better. Listen to this. A 2-win Titans team defense might be better than, from a stats perspective, than the Chicago Bears defense. And we saw last week that Shedeur Sanders had 74 yards passing or whatever. He had 364 yards passing last week, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception against the Titans defense. But the difference is that he didn't turn the ball over a lot. He had 1 turnover, 1 interception. So, Tony, tell me how the Browns traveling to the Bears, how do you think first Shedeur Sanders is going to do in that Bears environment? And tell me, how do the defense of the Browns finally wake up after horrible 2 showings the last 2 games and finally stop the Bears to get an upset win? Because believe it, this will be an upset win if the Chicago Bears lose this game.
So I feel like Shedeur, everything he's doing right now is putting on a show because it's proving people wrong. So he's on a tour because the Bears passed on him. Even though they already had their quarterback, every team in the NFL passed on him. So he's on a revenge tour this early in his career. So I feel like he's going to go into Chicago and do something similar that he did against the Titans because, like you said, they give up a lot of points, but I feel like he's going to take care of the ball a lot more. As long as he can hold, he doesn't fumble the ball. I don't think he's going to pass that many interceptions, but if he doesn't fumble the ball, because they do have a good front that gets in and disrupt and stuff like that. But for the defensive side, when are y'all going to? They have to show up. Like you've been heralded the top defense in the league for most of the season, and then these.
Well, they showed up for Dylan Gabriel. My point is they showed up for Dylan Gabriel.
This is what I've been saying. Every time I'm talking in the comment section on all my Browns podcasts, is like y'all picked a great time not to show up when Shador starting. Like it's crazy. Like when Dylan Gabriel wasn't doing anything, nobody was yelling at him, going at him, berating him on the sideline like Judy did. And the defense played lights out. And all of a sudden, maybe because it's cold outside, they don't want to hit no more. Usually when it's cold outside, nobody want to hit. But you playing in Cleveland, this is what it is.
Did Garrett get a sack last week?
Yeah, he got one. He's
at 20.
Closer. But they're triple teaming him. They show they're trying to keep him from getting that record. So, but I feel like the Browns could get this one. Even though I said earlier I'm kind of contradicting myself, but this is the only game that the Bears can have a chance to win if they did, because I know we're not trying to win because we're trying to get that draft spot.
I'm pissed off
ahead of the Commanders.
I'm pissed off for that, y'all. This is a game y'all should have won against. We're going back against the Titans. You should have won that game because we got blown out. The Commanders got blown out, and I want the draft position. When your team is not doing well, the only thing you have hope for is you continue losing so you can get draft position. And when the Browns lost this game, I would think I was more upset that they lost because of draft position versus the fact that I was glad that Shador Sanders did what he was supposed to do as far as stats, but to lose that game was crazy. And now they got the Bears. I want them to upset the Bears. I don't think they're going to do it, but I need them to upset the Bears somehow to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, it became clear to me after that Raiders game. They wanted to give them that Raiders game. It's almost like they want to give them that Raiders game to show like some trade bait for Raiders for him to go to the Raiders. And those games afterwards, like the defense didn't show up. Of course, it's kind of weird because that's the only game the defense showed up against the Raiders. But I mean, they showed up in the first half of the 49ers game, but then the second half they just went away. But yeah, it just seems kind of fishy to me, but I don't think they're trying to win anymore the rest of the season. I would like thinking about it, like for draft capital, I think we have a better chance of like potentially trading our picks to get a better like free agent, maybe a AJ Brown, maybe because he's having issues with the quarterback. Maybe we can get AJ Brown in Cleveland. Maybe. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know how it's going to pan out at the end. You really never know. And so, we're turning the page on that game. Going to be one to watch. Even though you shouldn't watch that game, people are going to watch the game because they want to see if Shador continues to do well, right? A lot of Shador fans out there. So, yeah, you got. So, we got actually a really good matchup, and this is going to have some serious playoff implications for the Detroit Lions. Man, Detroit, you have to go and play a Rams team that is pretty damn good. I mean, Matthew Stafford, you're playing them in the dome. The saving grace for the Lions is that they're going to a dome, so they don't have to deal with any elements this week. They're going to play them at a dome, but now you got Matthew Stafford and that, Corum. Now you've got Corum, the running back from Michigan, second-year guy from Michigan, blowing up, okay, at the right time. And now you've got the Detroit Lions going to the Rams to play the Rams. I'm not quite sure. I would like to see Detroit win this game, but man, to go over there and beat them in that environment, I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to go on a limb and say the Lions is going to win this game. I'm going to say the Lions are going to win this game. I think that it's going to be a tough game. They need to win this game. Detroit does. So, what do you think about this game, Tony?
Well, Corum has always been a solid back. Even last year, he's coming in from Kyron Williams and stuff like that. They kind of like the two-headed monster. But I feel like it's gonna be tough for the Rams because if they get into a shootout, They got Puka Nakua. I mean, it's gonna be
It's gonna be crazy.
it's gonna be a
It's gonna
crazy
be
game.
crazy.
I think it's hard to pick this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
But
I don't know what the line is on this game either.
it's
I don't think
minus 5.5 for the for the Rams. 5.5.
what?
Wow, that's a big number.
Oh
Minus
wow.
5.5. Yeah, I mean they going with the home team on this one. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
it's going to be maybe because I mean, for me, it's a revenge game for the
Yeah.
quarterback for Goff. Like he's going back to the Rams. I don't know. I mean, they know him, and I feel like they're gonna take him out. I mean, I think he's going. I don't know. He's probably gonna sputter his wheels. I don't know. That's probably what they're banking on. That's why it's a minus 5.5. Because I mean, there's no other reason why you would give them 5.5 unless they know something we don't. Of course, they usually.
Well, they do. They
Yeah.
make all the money. They got all the analytics there in Vegas, and the odds makers are gonna figure it out with that particular game. But boy, that's gonna be a really good game to watch.
But the total is 55.5, so it's gonna be a shootout.
It's gonna be a shootout. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a shootout game. We'll see what happens in that game. You also have the Vikings at the Cowboys. I mean, the defense of the Vikings create all kinds of issues. The way they blitz and the way they do things. McCarthy had his best game last week against the Commanders. I'm not quite sure if he can continue to maintain that. It was just a bad Commanders team that he played against, and a bad defense, bad offense all the way around. So, but I think this game's going to be closer than what people really think because they blitz a lot. The Vikings blitz a lot, and their defense can play very well. So the Cowboys, I think, the Cowboys are not totally out of it yet. They're still in the race for the division because of the loss between the Eagles. But the Cowboys losing 44-30 last week on Thursday Night Football against the Detroit Lions, it was a gut punch, right? The Detroit Lions said, "Hey, you know what? We're here. We're not going anywhere." And that's why I think Detroit now is they're on their playoff run right now. And the Vikings going into the Cowboys, I'm thinking the Cowboys can win this game, but we're going to have to see. The Cowboys are going to have to muster up a lot to win this game because I think Minnesota playing on the road inside of a dome, not have to worry about any elements. I think McCarthy, he found his sea legs finally last week, and I think that the Cowboys will win, but I think the Vikings aren't going to go down quietly in this particular game.
Well, yeah, Vegas has Cowboys winning -6, so.
Oh, they think they're going to win going away.
But,
then. Wow.
But when you got CD Lamb out with the concussion protocol, they're trying to say he's going to come back because you know how Jerry, he's probably going to push him to come back maybe too early. Because he did hit that ground hard.
That was crazy.
I just want to make sure CD is okay because like those kind of hits on the ground, like coming back too early because I mean you're in the playoff hunt, so it's like they kind of they want all hands on deck no matter what. But it's like when it comes to the brain, it's totally different to me. I feel like he should take some time, even though I'm saying this and I have him in fantasy and I have playoffs this week coming up.
Right. You do. Yeah.
I'm still looking out for his well-being, and I have him. I need him to win. He's my starting receiver.
Yep.
So when it comes down to it, like Jerry, don't rush the dude back because he hit his hair hard. Like there's no way. I mean, they know what they're doing, but I mean, if he's okay to play and he plays, that's fine. I'm happy if he's okay, but these hits to the head is getting too out of hand though. But
yeah,
that's where I'm looking at though. But I feel like if Lamb's not there, it's going to be a different game.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going to be a different game if Lamb's not there because Pickens can kind of carry the take over a game. But everybody's talking about how he was kind of lackadaisical last week against the Lions. But Pickens, he can take over a game. We've seen him do it this year, and I'm going to tell you what. There's a game that I haven't really had on my board to talk about, but the Thursday night game that's on the schedule this week is going to be a little bit interesting. You have Atlanta at Tampa Bay, right? Atlanta is not really a great team this year, but they play pretty well though And they got a lot of talent, and they're real streaky. And Tampa Bay have not been playing well the last 4 or 5 weeks. They've been struggling. They're 7-6, and they're tied with the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers have to actually play the Saints this week. So, I mean, we could be looking at a situation where the Carolina Panthers takes over this division if Atlanta goes in and beat Tampa Bay, and then Carolina takes care of business like they're supposed to at the Saints. I mean, the Saints got the upset win this week, in Tampa Bay. So I can't take this one lightly. I can't take this one lightly at all. When I'm looking at the game, I can't take this lightly at all. I think Atlanta is going to beat Tampa Bay, and then I'm going to predict that I'm going to predict Carolina is going to beat the Saints. That's not really a hard prediction, but the Saints have been playing well. But you got to remember, these division games are a little bit different, and it seems like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been trying to hand this thing over to the Carolina Panthers the last 5 weeks, and they haven't really looked good. I mean, at 7-6, they lose to the Saints last week. Now, I think that this is a problem for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, yeah, Atlanta is already eliminated. So, yes, they're going to try to play spoiler, right? So that's a divisional rival or whatever you want to call it. But the reason why I believe that Tampa Bay has been, it looks like they're giving it to Carolina Panthers only because injuries. Mike Evans is supposed to come back this week. So when you have all these injuries that happened, they had most of their receivers have been out like at some points of the year. So I feel like if we can get Mike Evans back, I mean, I said I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. I'm a Baker fan. I'm a Baker fan now of all people. Yeah, Mike Evans is back. If Mike Evans is back, this team is back to normal to me. Because you got Bucky Irvin back. Everybody, the band is coming back together, and I feel like they're going to start making this push there for the playoffs because like you said, Carolina's like scratching at their heels, like trying to get them to pull down and whatever. But Carolina should beat New Orleans, but New Orleans has been playing well, so that can be a toss-up too. So depends on what Carolina team you're going to get.
Yeah, I'm just reading some of these comments, just going back a little bit. It says, Rasta Dread MK7TP says, I agree with Tony. Mile High is not going to help them at all. So yeah, I mean, Mile High might not help them.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like they gonna slow down a little bit. They're gonna be huffing and puffing, and they're gonna have to go get on that oxygen machine. The oxygen
machine. They might get on the oxygen machine. And then Tone BC Waka. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but you can see it on the screen. Dak Prescott, 300 yards, 3 TDs versus the Vikings. I don't know. I mean, the Vikings defense, though, man, is a little tough. I mean, especially without a CeeDee Lamb, I don't think Dak will have 300 yards passing.
Well, they're gonna try to push CeeDee Lamb to come back, but 300 yards. I mean, that means Pickens is going off. And then you got to throw the ball so you're back out of the backfield and stuff like that too, and the tight end too.
On the blitz though, being blitz 60% of the time, you're gonna be blitzed 60% of the time in this game.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I feel like McCarthy's going to turn the ball over a lot and is going to give them more opportunities, and that's why probably how they can get that 300 yards. How Dak can get that 300 yards.
So you're saying that is just the McCarthy is going to just turn the ball over to give them extra. We haven't talked about the Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati. Baltimore at Cincinnati. I mean, Baltimore. We haven't talked about this game. How they really dropped the ball last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now they're behind the 8 ball a little bit. And so you got Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers. They haven't been throwing the ball over 20 yards pretty much all season well, and they had like 2 or 3 passes over 25 yards against the Ravens defense last week. The Pittsburgh Steelers did. And now you've got, the Ravens that need a win going into to play the Bengals. And the Ravens, is something off about that team right now. I just can't put my finger on it. And I think it just might be Lamar Jackson is not healthy. Lamar Jackson might not be healthy, and the defense is not supporting him. And so now you go and play a mad team over there with the Bengals. And so I'm not sure what that line is, but that's going to be a tough game. It's in your wheelhouse because it's a AFC North division game, Tony. Who do you think wins this game? Because this is not a gimme game for the Baltimore Ravens by any stretch.
I mean, the way I can't pick Baltimore, because the rivalry there, but. And it's mostly because of Lamar Jackson. Because I mean, I like Lamar Jackson. He's like one of my favorite quarterbacks that's playing right now. But he hasn't been playing like Lamar Jackson. He's been a shell of himself this year, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the offensive scheme. Like these teams are getting caught up with what he's doing. They find out a way. They have a blueprint to how to stop him now.
Yeah.
And the whole team. And I mean. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I know Henry is going to get a lot more carries. I feel like he should get more carries. And if Henry's getting more carries against this weak Cincinnati Bengals, but Cincinnati Bengals have been playing
good,
solid. Because when Joe Burrow came back, I think he lit a fire under their butts.
On the defense side too.
Yeah, and he I mean, besides that last game, he threw some picks, but he usually takes care of the ball and runs the clock down. It's like they possess the ball a lot longer, but. I feel like still Derrick Henry against that defense, I feel like he's going to run him over. And then hopefully Lamar Jackson's okay to run, but it seemed like he has an injury like we talked about before. Yeah. Because he's not running like he usually does. So it's like, what's going on with Lamar Jackson? Does he have an injury that he's dealing with? If he can run the ball, I feel like they can win the game.
Yeah. And one thing we didn't talk about that came out yesterday, which almost floored everybody and everybody, it floored everybody, is this. They're reporting now that the Colts, and we haven't talked about the Colts, right? I think the Colts are done. Listen to me. I think the Colts are not making the playoffs with the way that, you see the Jaguars are playing, with the way that you see that, the Titans, but the I forget. The other team is playing over there, and that division is crazy. I don't think the Colts are making the team. Phillip Rivers to work out for the Colts today is crazy.
Yeah.
So you got a guy that hasn't played in 5 years, and you have a guy that is 44 years old, and because of the injury of all the quarterbacks on the Colts, everybody's hurt. Everybody. They have to try to do this. What do you think about this, Tony? This is crazy.
So I was talking to my guy, his name is Dustin, and he's a Colts fan, and he was telling me it may be good for Phillip Rivers because they haven't really gave up too many sacks. The offensive line hasn't given up too many sacks. The only reason why he gets hurt because he runs the ball and stuff like that or whatever. But if they can protect Rivers, I mean, if he's still got an arm, I mean, I think because he's a high school coach right now, so I think he's feeling himself when he's playing with the high schoolers and he's dropping dimes and stuff like that. So he like, okay, let's take it like this. I feel like he's looking at LeBron and like seeing LeBron he's still playing.
He's older than LeBron, by the way.
He's like, oh, let me see what I can do because LeBron's still doing it. Let me see if I can. It's a total different sport, but I don't know what lit a fire. I don't know what lit a fire under Phillip Rivers' butt yesterday morning or whatever to want to go try out to have a workout. I don't understand it, but if he does well, if he gets them to the playoffs, or gets them through the playoffs and win a Super Bowl, it's a damn good story.
I have a theory that I've been thinking about. Why don't the Colts call the Cincinnati Bengals and ask for Joe Flacco? Right?
Well, already said that.
Why don't the Cincinnati? Why don't the Colts call the Cincinnati Bengals and say, "Hey, we'll give you a fifth rounder. We'll give you back a fifth rounder for Joe Flacco to come in this week and lead you to a victory." Because Joe Flacco can do better than any other quarterback that's out there right now, and they don't need them. they don't need Flacco, the Cincinnati Bengals anymore.
But the reason why, I mean, even Dustin, my friend, he says this. He's like, I don't want him back because he was there. He didn't do nothing when he was there. But this is a different kind of team, I think. And I feel like, you know, I don't know. But if they said they're going to release, they might be releasing him to go see if he can get a spot or whatever. But I don't know how true that was. I saw it on a post.
Release Joe Flacco?
They may release him because he wants to play. Now that Joe Burrow's back, he wants to, you know, I don't know if he's talking about getting released to go to a contender maybe. And if I feel like if he goes back, because he already knows their scheme, like he can go right back into it and actually probably play better because he has some time away to reflect and like come back. And then they have a better defense now. They have a better, you know, pieces on the offensive side and stuff like that. I feel like he can actually go back and do some things like he did in Cincinnati after.
Yeah, and you know what? If he might actually, if they got him, if the coach got Flacco back, he could possibly win a few of these games coming up to save their season potentially. I don't think it's too late though. But also next year, if Joe Flacco wants to come back, I mean, you have a Daniel Jones who's going to be out with an Achilles for probably about a year, right?
How old is Flacco?
Flacco was what, 40, 41?
So he's about the same age as Phillip Rivers. I mean, he's getting close to Phillip Rivers. So I mean,
I mean, he's about the same age. He's about the same age as, you know, that bad man over there in Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers. So I don't really see this happening. But I would if Flacco played for his third team and went in there and got some wins, this would be amazing. I would be talking about this for a long time.
This would be a trivia question.
A trivia question, right?
And the Raiders are next. They're gonna ask Tom Brady to come out of retirement. Like,
it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. Hey guys, we're out of time right now. So for everybody who tuned in, thank you for tuning in for Chasing the Highlights. This has been the Chasing the Highlights podcast with Lonnie and Tony. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully your teams win this week.
Come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. Chasing the highlights, where dreams come alive. Two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. We treasure the legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay, breaking down plays.